Cool. Awesome. All right. We're trying to connect in Jim right now. Can everybody hear us?
Hello, I can hear you.
How's it going?
Oh, I just took a nap and I just
Nice.
woke up in time. Can you believe that?
Still got the light off in the room and everything, huh?
Yeah, well, when you don't sleep, I feel like Elvis.
Right. You're a popular man these days.
Oh, yeah. I can put this up on a little thing. You want me to do that? Hold on. I'm sorry I'm not prepared. You guys are all professionals, and I'm like,
Katie and I are in tie-dye sweatshirts and ponytails today. So.
Randomly, we didn't know we dressed like twins today.
We didn't.
the Katies. There's that great song, She Caught the Katie.
Yeah.
We're going to sing that,
Are you?
Excited.
She caught the Katie and left me a mule to ride. My baby caught the Katie. Left me a mule to ride. The
Opening
train-
song of the movie.
That's that's the first song in the Blues Brothers movie.
It is.
Right.
It's my favorite, obviously.
Wow, you know what? It's my favorite too, actually. There's one verse that we don't do in the show because we had to cut one verse, but I love the verse. It goes, my baby, she's long. My baby, she's tall. She sleeps with her head in the kitchen and her big feet's in the hall. Crazy about her.
Apartment, right?
And hard-headed woman of mine.
That's funny.
Let me see how this is. How's this? Still feels like too wide of an angle of a lens, but is that all right?
Oh yeah, that looks great.
Got a different lens. It seems like it's a wide angle.
I feel that way too.
Yeah, right. So thank you guys for taking an interest in the Katies and me.
Oh yeah, thanks so
Yeah.
much for agreeing to talk to us. This is a real pleasure.
Yeah. So yesterday we spent a good couple hours at the dispensary talking to the Katies, getting the backstory on Glacier chocolate and glazed edibles. We got to talk about sort of the genesis of the brand and how that got started. And they told us a little bit about the Jim Belushi brand and the joints, the candy joints that are coming out, and some of the other projects.
Oh, the candy joints are so good.
Yeah, those are so cool. Nobody's done them. It's a very unique product.
Oh, they'll all be doing it now.
Yeah. Well,
We're gonna steal from the Katies.
seems like those molds are pretty hard to get. So you guys have a jump start on that one for sure.
Yeah.
But thanks for spending the time with us. Can you tell us a little bit we know about your grow in Oregon, and you've got some other product lines. Kind of give us a background for us with what your history has been within the cannabis industry, launching these multiple businesses that you have.
It's a big question, baby. Let's see. Can you bring it down a little bit? I don't know which way to go.
What was your first introduction into wanting to work in the cannabis industry? What brought you to cannabis to begin with as a patient yourself?
Well, I was never a prolific smoker except for in high school. I always kind of medicated a little bit here and there. I wasn't really that big of a partier in college because I was kind of an acting nerd. And I was always acting or doing lights on a show or doing a one-act play for the playwrights class or doing the main stage, the speech department. You had really hardly any time to drink or smoke for sure. And then when I got older, I was in Second City doing 8 shows. I never really was a prolific smoker. But from time to time, I would always get nervous because Danny would smoke and he'd give me some, and and he'd be smoking it like a cigarette, big piles of smoke. And first of all, I'd watch the piles of smoke go up, and I was like, when we used to smoke in high school, it was like, trying to save all the smoke, But anyway, oh, come on, Jimmy, have a little. No, I'm okay, Danny. I'm okay. Come on, have a little. I look at him and he's like, well, he seems normal. And I would take one hit and I'm like, so I have a low THC tolerance, which I believe a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe in the medicine of this. And I think the best way for the curious and the new consumer, in these 37 states to experiment is through the edible. And not the edible that your friend is making in a brownie, because that'll knock you out for 18 hours. But a regulated, measured, tested, delicious edible. So I use like 2.5 to 5 milligrams, to sleep or to chill out at the end of a long working day. And the way the Katie's, first of all, it's the best chocolate. And they've managed to keep the terpene values with the THC, and the chocolate still tasting like chocolate, not cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Which is difficult to do because the terpenes are the flavor and the smell. And I believe that the terpenes and the THC combination, that entourage, has a much more desirable effect on the consumer. There's no paranoia that comes with it, anxiety comes with it. It just kind of chills you. So that was what was so impressive when I met the Katie's, besides them being so delightful. Just heartwarming and full of love and healing in the world. They have a great purpose. Was the manufacturing ability that they had, the mixture of chocolate, sugar, fats, THC, CBD, and terpenes. Most chocolate, they strip, trim, and just kind of gather whatever they call distillate, and they put it in the chocolate, which is fine, which is very suitable too. I'm not bad mouthing it. But the premium high-end chocolate, which Katie's have spent a lot of their money to perfect successfully, is really the ultimate. I think I've really found, I'll say it, I really found some magic here with these Katie's. And I think their brand is going to explode. And I chase magic, they call it chasing magic because I repeated so many times about how do you get in show business? And I said, when I first got my first laugh on stage, it was magic. And I've been chasing that magic ever since. And I find magic wherever I go, whether it's a concert, whether it's performing with Danny and the Blues Brothers, or whether it's a moment of teaching my son when he was 6 how to ride a bike. There was that moment of magic that happened, and you're in your body and you feel full of joy. And I find that in acting, singing, cooking, I don't know, all kinds of things. So I think the Katie's have captured magic. And that's why we called it chasing magic. I'm talking too much.
I'm blushing. I'm flattered.
And how did
Amazing.
The Katie's yesterday told us that, how you stumbled in their store and found them. Can you tell us how you discovered glazed edibles and the Katie's?
Yes. Katie's cousin, Shannon, my good friend in Los Angeles, Shannon. We had we had a gig or something. What did we have? No, we were visiting
Wait.
Redbird.
Yeah.
Came to visit Redbird because we made a deal with Redbird as a distribution and also a manufacturer of the Blues Brothers cannabis.
Mm.
And I'm like, we're in Tulsa. And I go, I think Shannon's from Tulsa. I called her and I said, I'm in Tulsa. Do you have any good restaurants? Oh, Jimmy. Let me get my brother. Let me think. All of a sudden, we were set up in the nicest restaurants. And then she said, my cousin Katie's got an edible shop, a dispensary downtown. You should go say hi to her. And I'm like, all right, Shannon, I'll go say hi. And I walked into this cloud of magic. And they were there and they were delightful. And we went through the kitchen and we saw how they did everything. And the chocolate was terrific. And I went, look, I'm looking to release an edible in Oklahoma. Why don't we just do it? It was that simple.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Well, the chocolate was that blow away. It's not like, let me think about it. Well, I'll talk to my people and see. It was like, okay, this is magic. You're lovely as can be. Let's do it.
Yeah, we've got, for anybody who hasn't seen them, we can show real quickly just what some of their amazing painted chocolate look like. We all came in and got some yesterday and we all tried some pretty much as soon as we got back to work.
Yeah.
And then again when we got home from work.
They're amazing.
Nice. What do you think?
They're awesome.
Oh, they're great.
And the ones we had were the 10 milligrams, and those were perfectly dosed. They're perfect dose.
Thank you.
Well, that's the thing. It's dosing. Our industry is, the consumer wants a controlled experience. And in alcohol, they know what they're going to feel like with 2 beers, a shot of whiskey, or 2 glasses of wine. And cannabis, like with Danny, I didn't know what I was going to feel when I smoked this joint. But with edibles, you can really rely on a controlled experience because it's measured so well. Mm-hmm. And always start at 2.5 and then work your way up, and you can have a controlled experience. And so that 10 milligram, it's hard though, because I eat 2.5 to 5. That's like eating half of that, that lemon pie one. It's like you tell her half. It's like it's so delicious.
Is this your first edible product that you've launched?
Well, I'm simultaneously launching with Bang Chocolate in California.
Mm.
That's right. Oh,
I like Jamie Pearson. Bang has been, around for years in the medical market, like in California. And that was semi-illegal. And then she flipped over to make sure she was completely compliant. And she took a little bite on sales because of that, but she wanted to be compliant. And now her business is building back up. It's really quite, it's blues. It's a Blues Brothers chocolate, a working man's brand for sure. The Katie's is just like premium, something Shannon would like.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty.
Good.
How do you think
right here? Are we recording this, huh?
it is
Yeah.
being recorded? Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So it probably should be a little more in the light, huh?
Oh yeah, that looks even
That's good.
better.
How do you think Hollywood has responded to your advocacy of cannabis?
Who?
Yeah.
Hollywood. I haven't paid attention, although the LA Times and the Hollywood Reporter, they're all very curious about the cannabis industry, and they've come for interviews and stuff. They've treated me as a influencer and someone who understands But I don't know. They've got enough problems of their own. I mean, they shut down for a year and a half. Agencies are merging, and Disney's getting sued for not releasing a movie and putting it on streaming. They got enough problems. They're not thinking about Jim Belushi on a farm. And I'm not thinking about them while I'm on the farm.
On your website, you talk about using CBD oil for your dog. What brought you to start using cannabinoids and hemp for your dog, and what kind of ailments did he have, and how's he doing?
Well, I've had a number of German Shepherds, and as they get to 9, 10, 11, 12, they get a lot of problems. And so my previous dog, Cash, he couldn't get up the stairs anymore. It was really humiliating for him. So I took some CBD. Actually, it was from the Iverson farm outside of Portland. Actually, that's where I'm sourcing my CBD oil. The Iverson farm. I gave it to Cash, and it was like, I had to hold up his legs to go up the stairs because he was determined to get up. And after like 2 days, the third day for sure, he was going up those stairs, and he got to the top and turned and looked at me like, I beat you. I was like, So dogs have an endocannabinoid system just like ours. Mm-hmm. And this made him feel so good because he was getting so arthritic, and it was just made him feel happy to be able to go up the stairs with me. So my dog now, Taro, total farm dog. He's running all day long, running, chasing ducks, chasing squirrels, chasing the ranger. Oh my God, the ranger, trying to bite the tires. And I mean, I don't think you train Olympic athletes with that much running that he does. And
he is fast.
Crazy.
Okay. 25 miles an hour. This last time, 29.
Wow.
He's a sprinter. For a shepherd, shepherds aren't like running dogs. Yeah. So he was and has been dehydrated, sore. And so I collaborated with a guy named Joel McLean, and we came up with a full spectrum CBD oil called K9, K9, 9INE. I had to change it a little bit.
Right.
It's available on my website only. I'm just doing it for people who,
we love that
who
movie.
know the movie and they need a little hand. It's organic, not organic. It's natural. You can't use the word organic. Right. It's natural, and it works. I give it to my dog. And by the way, once in a while, I'll take a little drop.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's great that you're putting the knowledge out there. Not a lot of people know, or they'll be afraid to try CBD with their pets. My 16-year-old husky just passed away 3 months ago.
I'm sorry.
But she lived to almost 17 years old. She was 4 months from being 17, and she used CBD every single day of her life. So it really made a big difference in the longevity of her life. And she also had hip problems, dysplasia. She was having arthritis and issues getting up off the ground, and she needed the hip harness. And we even got her a dog wheelchair, and she decided that she did not need that wheelchair anymore. She had to prove to us.
Yeah, they really have, they got an ego, these dogs. They got pride. Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. They got a little pride. They can look at you like, ain't doing that. No.
That's right.
I can do it myself. Dude,
that's right.
Love my dog. Well, I'm sorry to hear about the passing, but I'm glad you.
Yeah, Thank you.
CBD help her along.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it's spreading the knowledge really helps people. I mean, you love that animal so much, like it's a family member, and you would do more for that animal than you would even do for yourself, you know. But not enough people.
Nobody's loved me more than my dogs.
That's right.
And dogs don't leave. They die, but they don't leave you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so Canine was one of my favorite Jim Belushi movies. And we were talking with the Katies yesterday, and both of them agreed that Curly Sue was their favorite, which was also
Was my
Oh, you
first.
sap.
first.
That is the sappiest movie. You little softies,
Yeah.
sentimental little girls.
Yes, we loved it.
Oh,
That's why you love us, though.
Bill came back for her. Oh,
I think the principal was growing up. The principal was my brother and I's
yeah, man.
favorite movie.
Yeah, man. Stay in school. Stay in school.
It's also what
I
got
got
us
a
both.
poster.
We started
I got a
drinking.
Go ahead.
Oh no.
I had a poster. I don't know how I got it, but it was a poster that said the principal says, "Stay in school," and it's like me going like this. I framed it and put it in my son's room.
That's perfect.
That's so funny. It's why we started drinking powdered instant breakfast.
Oh,
And we tried it in Coca-Cola too because of the movie. I think my mom thought we were crazy.
well, it's a good combination. I remember I had to drink it on campus. When you put 8 tablespoons of sugar into anything, it's going to taste good.
Right?
What's been your favorite role that you've played in a TV or movie?
I get that question. It's really hard to answer that because business-wise and, About Last Night was the movie that kind of changed my career.
Sure.
Not kind of changed my career. And it was a role I did on stage. I really owned that character, and he was fun. And it just everything came together for that movie. And I'm grateful for it. But I don't know, it's like your children, it's like you're so invested in each one of them. Every movie I've done, I've gone 100%, and you put your heart in it. So, there's a piece of my heart in every one of these films. So I kind of like them all, see where your heart was at that time. The first movie I did, Thief, with James Caan, Michael Mann directing. Yeah, I mean, I just love them all. My favorite, as far as success, I love working with Arnold and Reddy. I like them all. I can't answer the question.
That's a good movie. I always wondered with About Last Night, when you did the stage performance, was that Sexual Perversity in Chicago?
Yes, the play was Sexual Perversity in Chicago, written by David Mamet. It was a 60-minute play. The movie was 63 minutes. The movie was an hour and 50 minutes.
Right.
So Denise DeClue and Tim Kazurinsky was an old Second City cohort and a Saturday Night Live cohort. Stretched that script into the movie. So, but most of the stuff I did was straight from the play. And then there was some scenes that Tim wrote, quite a few. So I don't know, it was magic. Talk about magic.
Cool. And then we were wondering if you could say anything about what it was like to work with Tupac.
Yeah, he was cool. Tupac's super cool. I love Tupac. He was to me an artist, and musically he was a poet. He wasn't one of those rappers at that time that were going, "Hey, I'm the MC. Look at me. Look at my mic. Look at my cars. Look at my girls." His was all about, the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why they call you bitch. God damn, that one just breaks my heart. One about his mother. He had a couple party songs, but But on the movie set, this guy went to the high school performing arts. It wasn't like some rapper off the street and like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. But this guy had skills. I think he was one movie away from really breaking out. He was a pro. And what was cool was that he was a musician and I'm a musician. And my training comes from Second City, which is improvisation, is attributed to jazz. So it's a jam and you're improvising with other musicians while I'm improvising with other people. And we're making up stuff, jamming, right? So Tupac was a musician and he had those rhythms. I was a musician. I had those rhythms. So we would start a scene. We would never talk about it. Some actors say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They'd go action. And I would take like the lead guitar almost. Like I'd be a little stronger and I'd be running the energy a little bit. I'll be driving the rhythm. And he was like a bass player. And he was just like, boom, boom. He would fill right in. And those scenes were like magic. I mean, and then we'd do another take and I would lay back, right? Like a musician, I'm going to lay back on this one, right? And he would pick up. So we were jamming all the time. We were always chasing the magic. We were always finding magic in every take. And then afterwards, we'd like giggle with each other, right? Like, hey, man, where did you find that? I don't know. I don't know. I said, well, I don't know either, but whatever it was fun. He was super cool. Came on time, came with his lines memorized. A man of big hearts. He had a couple of boys that he took care of that came to the set that were well behaved. He cared for them. He was a mentor. He was wonderful. One time I said, I always wanted to take Fly Me to the Moon and put a rap in it, because they've been taking Killing Me Softly and putting a rap in it, right? And he goes, I never heard Frank Sinatra. And he goes, no. I was like, what? You're a musician, you know Frank Sinatra? And so I brought my CDs, we started playing them in the trailer. And he was blown away. And so we're trying to figure out how to do Fly Me to the Moon with a little rap underneath, right? And then I don't know, a week later, he just went, can't do it, Jim. What do you mean? You can't touch that song. It is melodically perfect. It would be doing an injustice to break into it. I was like, oh, so you dig Frank now? Yeah, I dig Frank. He was super cool. We had a professional relationship. Lovely man. He passed 10 days after the movie wrapped.
Whoa. Wow.
What a crime. What a crime to lose that kind of talent. Crime to everybody who loved them. Oh, well, we're keeping his spirit alive.
We sure are. We sure are. Well, so I'm a musician. Patrick's comes from an improv background. He used to teach at IO West in Hollywood before they closed it down recently.
Oh,
yeah. If you're,
oh, you know what I'm talking about then.
yeah,
Oh, for
he
sure.
totally does. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who's up and coming that wants to be improv or actor or comedian? It's really hard nowadays. Second City's not there, right? And iOS is no longer in business. So it makes it really hard, given the state of the world and everything, to sort of come up and be someone who wants to be on SNL or do comedy skit acting.
Well, when I started improvising, there were maybe, I'm sorry about that. When I started improvising in Chicago, there was maybe 100 improvisers in the city. And everybody would start their own improv companies, the reification company. You know, there was Second City Touring, and there were clubs, and we would all go and meet and improvise. I'd improvise with reification, I'd improvise with Second City, and everybody would like rotate and try to get as much chops as they could. Now there's 8,000 improvisers in Chicago.
Right.
So I don't know what to tell you. It's horrid competition. I believe that I tell my daughter and my son, take those damn improv classes. Just take them over and over and over. You know, whether you want to be a sketch comedian or a professional improviser, it does make a difference to bring that kind of energy to the other work that you do. I rely on what I learned through improvisation in everything I do. The rhythms. It's like what I did with it's all rhythm work. It's rhythm, character. You know, the way Second City used to do it was very relationship story orientated opposed to joke orientated. So there were relationship developments, and you know, it's just you got another ear. You got a musical ear when you're doing regular straight lines. So I recommend. I don't think these improvisers' goal should be the stand-up comic or be on Saturday Night Live. I think they should study the craft of acting. And part of that study is whether you're doing Stella, you know, or whatever you're doing. Part of that is you got to do improvisation, man. And there's a lot of classes being taught. And all these guys teaching classes know what they're doing. They get it, you know. But the stand-up, that's another whole venue. That's open mic nights and all that stuff. But sketch stuff is, you know, hey man, we played coffee houses. We played zoos, improvising we improvised in college. I put my own group together in college. We improvised in a bar that 2 feet in front of us and back was packed with people drinking and talking. They didn't hear a word we said. Can I have a suggestion of a location? All right, we're going to pick a location. You just keep doing it, you know, don't give up. What can I say? Just find anything you can do and do it. Just do it. Don't stop. I tell my kids, you know, do it all except for porn. Do it all. You know, do children's shows, do senior citizens' homes. They really love improvisation, these senior citizens. I've done a lot of these nursing homes, you know, in the past. You just got to find a stage to get the chops. Does that make sense?
Totally. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you yourself have a favorite skit or a sketch that you guys did on SNL?
Well, you know, I did a lot of short film pieces that I liked. I did one called Chess Coach, which I really loved. It was a short film piece where, you know, it shows this, you know, higher learning, you know, like in Denmark College. Oh, college, you know, the high school campus, known for years to be, you know, one of the most competitive places on earth. But nobody sings a song so lonely as the high school chess coach. And then they cut into me in a gymnasium with 2 nerdy guys playing chess in the middle of the gymnasium and me walking back and forth like Bobby Knight going, on rook 4, pawn to rook 4. Jeez. Just give them the rook. It was the funniest sketch. And I was probably Chess Coach, one of my favorite.
I think short film wise, the first episode of Saturday Night Live I ever saw I would think I was in the 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, and your guy started putting all the stuff down his pants in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't get it at all. And my but a few years later, I was like, that's the funniest thing.
Gary Kroger was like, hey, you forgot to pay for the gum. Okay. Yeah, that was an Andy Breckman. Andy Breckman really wrote some great short films. I did a couple of Andy Breckmans. I did a big phallic one too. Episcopal wouldn't do it. And I go, I'll do it. It was about a guy who was having bad luck in a bar, picking up girls. He goes in the bathroom. He's all bummed out. He sees Gary Kroger take a little napkin and stuff it down his pants. Oh, okay. The bulge, it's called. So I take some napkins. I take some soap. I open a utility closet and there's toilet paper and plungers. And I'm like, cut to me coming out with like a 6-foot phallic. In the corner. And I walk into the bar like this. And I end up getting all the girls. I mean,
yeah.
But I remember the standards of praxis guy. He goes, "You can't do that. That's just a big dick joke. You know, you can't do that." And Ebersol fought for it. And so the guy finally said, "All right, as long as it's not smooth." So we had to stuff it with like boxes, so it really looked horrible. The bulge, that was pretty good. Andy Breckman.
Now pivoting real quick, when you decided that you wanted to start farming, how much did you have to learn? I mean, like, where was your when you decided you wanted to get into the business, what was your knowledge level of cannabis like? And how did you learn? Who did you learn from? Or
well, I took on this farm and this growing, this agriculture thing, like I take on a role. You know, when you take on a role, you study it, study the lines, you study the adverbs, you study the things that people say about your character, or what you say about yourself. You get an idea, then you start creating a history and a profile. And, you know, you study deep. So when you come on the set, it's all there. And I've just been studying it. I talk to people, and, you know, Captain Jack, Jeffrey Iverson's taught me a lot. Anthony Aya, the guy we have now, has taught me a ton of great little techniques, little things that really make a difference in the end product as far as the terpene values and the elevation of THC, and, you know, keeping the ash white, you know, keeping the soil 64 degrees in order for the micronutrients to absorb into the roots better. The roots like it at that temperature. You know, I mean, all these little things you just learn. I mean, it's like college. I paid my tuition. I'm now working on my master's thesis, which is the Growing Belushi Show, you know. And I'm trying to share what I learned and trying to bring the new consumer, the new curious, into our industry with confidence that it's clean, that there's so many medical values to it, that it's not just a stoner thing. It's not I mean, you can have fun with it, but I think there's more medical values involved with cannabis. And that's really what I've been learning about. And I learn about it on my dispensary visits, because the consumer that comes in, I talk to them. And I've heard a lot of stories, and I've learned a lot. But mainly from the consumers and these visits and growers. And, you know, business-wise, I'm not so sharp, but I can grow.
So you're doing the Jim Belushi product with the Katie's, and then you have a Blues Brothers brand that you have licensed out for cannabis. Is that correct?
I have 4 brands. I have the Blues Brothers brand, working man's brand. We have a few SKUs in that, the baby blues, little baby joints, the flip, flop, and fly. We have the Captain Jack, which is the smell of SNL story, which is a Afghani strain that he brought in 1972 from the bottom of the Kush Mountains. It's a landrace strain, and he was the weed dealer for SNL during those days of John and Danny and Billy and those guys. So he was known as the smell of SNL. So I got that strain, that brand. I am Chasing Magic, which we're doing with the lovely Katie's. And I have a new one we just launched in Oregon about 3 or 4 weeks ago called Good Ugly Weed. Just really good weed, but man, maybe it's machine trimmed and not hand trimmed like everything else is pristine. More bees buds in it, but it is good. And it's like basically you can walk out with an ounce for under $100. It's a great value. It's flying off the shelves, and it's like maybe we should up the price. We're going to run out of weed. We're giving it away.
Yeah.
But it's a value brand. People need that value. People in Oregon, they're living check to check. They're working men. They're people, and are wonderful people in their community, and they work hard and they budget. They budget for their beer. They budget for their events. They budget for rent, and they budget for their cannabis. And so this is a really great budget item, and it really works. It's really good. Costco. I think it's Costco. They have great wines at Costco for cheap. You know why? They guarantee these farmers that we will buy your surplus. They do it with the French in Bordeaux and Burgundy. They get tons of great French grapes at a low, low price because they guarantee the money. And they make these $14 bottles of wine that you're drinking French wine. So our point is same thing in cannabis. And you're getting really, really great weed and good, ugly weed with great prices. So it's like that surplus idea. It's cool.
What state is the Captain
Bang chocolate, launching in California, and then the lovely Katie's. We're coming to Oklahoma next week.
That's right.
We're excited. We can't wait.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll be taking some pictures with you.
All right. Well, I'm running out of steam, guys.
Oh, a couple last questions. Do you have
pick one you like.
What do you have a favorite strain?
Yeah, I like cherry pie. We have a particularly good strain in cherry pie. I've compared it to other strains in other states. I don't know why. We got a good mother on cherry pie. I call it, I like it because it's about 19% THC and about 3% terpenes. And the entourage is very chill, manageable. Nice. You can take a hit and your wife won't even know you did. And I call it the marriage counselor. So my wife, soon to be ex, I guess the marriage counselor didn't work. I come downstairs and she goes, "You hungry?" "Yeah." "You want to go out?" "Sure." "What do you have taste for?" I go, "Cheeseburger." She goes, "It's a little heavy for me." "Anything else?" I said, "How about some sushi?" "I had sushi with my mom last night." It's like, look, we're going to go where you want to eat. We're going to eat what you want to eat. Why are you wasting my time? So now I'll take a hit of the cherry pie, come downstairs, and she'll say, "You hungry?" "Yeah." where do you want to go to eat? And I go, baby, we can go to Taco Bell as long as you're sitting across from me. She's going, aren't you? Am I? So I called it the marriage concert, but it's just, for me, it's perfect.
We just got some in at our dispensary and I got to try it last week. It's amazing. It's my new favorite.
Did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. We got the first box in Oklahoma.
From Redbird?
Yes.
So it's nice, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful. I love it. It's very
Yes.
mellow.
Yeah, that's right. Very mellow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well-
I'm so charming at dinner when I have a little cherry pie.
Right.
Thanks so much for talking
Thank
to
you
us.
so much
Thank
for
you
taking
very much.
time.
It's been great.
All right.
Cherry
Sorry,
pie.
Yeah,
I
there's the
ran
cherry
out of-
pie, Jim.
I just ran out of steam. I'm so sorry.
Oh no,
You're
no,
good.
it happens.
We'll
No worries
we'll
at
be
all.
taking some pictures with you next week, and hopefully we'll get to try some of that cherry pie.
No, bring that cherry pie, Katie. That's it, huh? You got the bowl
Yeah.
flipped out.
Yep.
Well, Katie, is there anything else that you guys want to add in the Katie's about Glazed and the Jim Belushi Chasing Magic?
I think we covered most of it yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So we're just really excited. We're ready for next
Yeah,
week.
we're excited.
Us too.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and we'll talk to you guys
Thank
later.
you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.